I've been watching basketball since 2015, and after being a LeBron Glazer for a little minute, the team I chose to support was the Philadelphia 76ers. And you know, there are a lot of useless, pathetic, dog shit, trash NBA franchises. The Kings, the Nets, the Pelicans, and of course the fuck-ass Hornets. But I don't think it would be a hot take if I was to say that the Philadelphia 76ers are far away the most disappointing franchise in the NBA. Oh shit! Now when it first started, it was more seen as an interesting idea to be trash as fuck, straight booty, bottom of the conference. And sure, yeah, they sucked, they didn't win any games, but it was seen as okay because they were gonna get the top pick every year. And my 11-year-old self thought that sounded like a pretty good idea. But that's where the first issue started. That's the first bone I have to pick with this Sixers franchise. Is their strange and poor drafting decisions. I'm not even gonna bring up Fultz or Simmons because they were the right pick. If you disagree or you try to act like they weren't the right pick at the time, you're a drooler. Shut the fuck up. But I want to take it back to 2013 where they drafted Elfrid Payton and they traded him for Nerlens Noel, which is fine, I guess. But in the same draft, they drafted another center in Joel Embiid. So now they have two centers which are gonna miss their first seasons due to injury. But truly, that really didn't matter. The Sixers were gonna be trash regardless. They were gonna be trash again and get another top pick. Yay! And with that third pick, the 76ers took Jahlil Okafor. So now the Sixers, 3 centers. By the way, it's 2015. Centers really ain't even in the league like that, so what do I know? I was just a young Sixers fan, so I didn't really question it. But the drafting woes aren't done. Let's fast forward 3 years to the 2018 draft, where Sixer fans still grieve this draft to this day. We were given the golden opportunity to draft someone, a forward, which we needed, someone who can shoot, which we also needed, and someone who can defend. The perfect 3-and-D small forward, not to mention he was born and raised in Philadelphia and he went to school at Villanova. And his mother also worked for the Sixers. But it's so good because the Sixers, of course, they drafted him. Psych! They actually traded him for Zaire Smith. Who the amazing 76ers front office thought Mikal Bridges and Zaire Smith were on the same level. We got an unprotected first round pick. To be honest, I don't give a fuck about that pick. We already had Ben Simmons and we had Markel. This is just the first example of the Sixers front office just losing me. The next one is them ever signing Brian Colangelo through his father to be the GM of our organization. It started off okay, he drafted Ben Simmons, he actually traded up to the first pick, but we now know the reason why the Celtics wanted to trade down to number 3 in 2017. But you know, the shit started to go a little left. Everything started to fuck up when he decided to make a burner Twitter account like Tay2 Smooth with his wife and talk shit about one of his best players. Yes, an NBA GM was making burners talking shit on one of his best players. He would say stuff like Embiid's selfish, he's lazy, and that he's way too distracted by models and social media. Also, one specific tweet, he talked about wanting to trade the process for the unicorn, talking about Kristaps Porzingis. He would dick ride Ben Simmons a lot, talking about how he loves his intensity and his pride for the team. Whole lot of dick riding. But I'm sorry, this is where I feel like the bullshit started. I just feel like, Brian Colangelo, you're ignorant. Like, let's be clear, let's be honest. The only reason you were even the GM of any team is because of your father. I would have to do some more research. But I feel like it wouldn't be a crazy take if I was to say you were one of the worst GMs in NBA history. You couldn't even do your fucking job. You were on Twitter talking down on your players. You're an embarrassment. And now we're at the present day with our current GMs in Elton Brand and Daryl Morey. The phrase I would use to, describe these two is 1 step forward, 3 steps backwards. I just feel like they catch too many L's in terms of when they're making decisions. Like, Elton Brand, you built this team up, you traded, you got JJ Redick, you traded for Jimmy Butler. We made it to the second round, game 7 against the Raptors, then we lost. But it was a good season. But instead of building on that, you let Jimmy Butler go for Brett Brown and Ben Simmons, which is fine, I guess. at 2019 young Ben Simmons. I understand it. However, you then use that money to sign Tobias Harris, Al Horford, and Josh Richardson. All three of them niggas was trash as fuck. You went 0 for 3 in that free agency. And was it a mistake? Sure, but it just feels like you get one thing right and then you fuck up 4 more times. It just feels like a break after a break after a break. And then Daryl Morey had to come in and fix up your mess. But that didn't really change much of anything, because when he fixed that team and gave us a better team in 2021, traded Al Horford, got Danny Green, signed Seth Curry, drafted Tyrese Maxey, those all like good things that he did. But you hired Doc Rivers to be our new coach.
I have a question.
Like, any team with Doc Rivers already knows before the season starts, they're not really gonna win shit. You got James Harden, which we're all happy about. Then you promised him a contract, and went back on it. You had a quality duo in Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid in 2024, and you saw that you were gonna have a lot of money in cap space, and you used it on Paul George and Kyle Lowry and some other old heads that I'm not even gonna bring up. Like, again, 1 step forward, 3 steps backward. So we got a shitty owner, a GM that uses Twitter burner accounts to dick ride his players, a GM that wanted to draft 3 centers in back-to-back drafts, and then our 2 current GMs that suck at free agency. And Daryl Morey using AI and 2K simulators on who to sign during free agency. So yeah, being a Sixers fan and having to deal with this front office, constantly catching L's, constantly changing, constantly fucking up the team, at this point is like, you're numb to it. You almost expect it. You almost brace yourself for some bullshit to happen, being a Sixers fan. And I knew the Sixers front office weren't about shit, but after, making this video, doing the research to make this video, and reading that Joel Embiid article on how they had an intern oversee his first injury when he was a rookie, I truly believe that the process Sixers, this era of the Sixers, is the most disappointing front office that I've ever seen. Maybe there's a few other bottom tier teams that come close, but the level that they were supposed to reach and what they actually go to, I feel like they're the least achieving out of anybody based on what they were given. But what do I know? I'm just a Burke Uni student. Bye.